This video will show you how to scan images to present on the Maine Memory Network. Maine Memory Network was created by the Maine Historical Society in 2001 as a way to share collections held in museums, archives, libraries, and historical societies around the state. We also accept images from individuals. There are special standards for the scans and photographs that appear on Maine Memory Network. This video is only going to address the scanning of flat items. Digital photography will be covered in a separate video. The Maine Memory site requires high-resolution images, which allow site visitors to successfully zoom in and see crisp details in the original photographs or documents, and also allows digital copies to be printed from your files if you wish to do that, or if a publisher or customer wants to purchase the license to do so. You can contact us if you are interested in that. But let's talk about the scans. Most people are familiar with scanning images at a set resolution, or DPI, meaning dots per inch. But that is only half of the equation. When scanning images or documents, you need to be concerned with the final output in order to have a good enough quality scan. You need to be able to control the resolution that is captured, and that's why copy machines are not a good choice for scanning historical images. Let's look at this example. If you have a small image, say 3 inches by 5 inches, and you scan it at the default 300 DPI setting, you can only print it as large as that, since most printers only print at 300 DPI. If you try to print it larger, it's going to look fuzzy or pixelated and break up. That's because there isn't enough digital information in the file to enlarge it so it looks nice. If you wish to print an enlarged view, you need to scan it at a higher resolution, thus putting more dots into that inch that you capture, so the printer can theoretically stretch it and can double or triple the size, still printing at 300 DPI. So the smaller the original photograph, the higher the resolution you need to give it for the right amount of data to be enlarged. We have determined that what works well for our Maine Memory Network goals is a file size of about 41 megabytes. In this case, the file size, not the resolution, becomes the target number. Regardless of the size of the original item, if you adjust the resolution to create a resulting file that equals 41 megabytes, your image can then be zoomed into and printed nicely up to 11 inches by 14 inches, roughly. This is why we don't give you a set resolution to scan at. When I say 41 megabytes, I'm talking about the size of the TIFF file or the open JPEG file or JPG. JPEG files are a lossy file format, which means when you save the file, it compresses it, thus losing or removing some of the information. So when you save this type of file, it compresses to about 5 to 10 megabytes. That is the file that is sent to Maine Memory Network. But when it is open, we see the full 40 megabyte format. We have determined that the JPEG file with very little compression is still a very good quality file. I'll show you how to do this. In this example, the image on the left was scanned at 720 DPI, resulting in a 40 megabyte file, allowing us to zoom into the image more than if we had scanned it at 300 DPI, which only created a 7 megabyte file. When I zoom into the face of the little girl on the 300 DPI image, you can see that it starts to break up and looks pixelated. The higher resolution scan is much more crisp. So how do you achieve this? First of all, make sure that you have a sufficient scanner and software. Your scanner should be able to scan at least 2400 DPI. Check the scanner's manual for the specifications or look outside on the box. You will also need some kind of image editing software. We recommend Adobe Photoshop Elements. You can get this for under $100 if you go through TechSoup for nonprofits. I'm going to show you how to scan an image using an Epson scanner and Adobe Photoshop Elements. If you have a different scanner and software, the steps will be slightly different, but the process and concepts are the same. Place the item you want to scan face down on the scanner. Square it off in the corner, but then carefully pull it away so there is about a half an inch around the entire item. This is important to show the edges of the item so the visitor knows that they are viewing the entire item and not just a part of it. Open your scanning software that came with the scanner driver. You will need to install these on your computer if you haven't already. I will be using Epson Scan, but you can purchase ViewScan or Silverfast that will give you even more controls and settings. When you open your software, make sure it is in professional or manual mode, not automatic. This will allow you to set the DPI setting and other settings. Make sure you are set to 24-bit depth and color. And turn off any sharpening, called unsharp mask here, and also auto crop. The next step is to select what you want to scan. Find and press the preview button so you can see your item. Using your mouse, click and drag until you have outlined the item. If the photograph has no border or mat, select around the whole image, just showing the edges. If there is a large border around the photograph, then you can select just around the photo itself and not include all the unnecessary blank border. If there is writing or a photographer's logo on the border, please include that. Refer to the Contributing Partners Manual Appendix for more examples. You can also fine-tune your selection once you have made the initial outline. Select Color Photo for your image type. We scan everything in color, even if it's black and white. We want to capture any sepia tone or colorization that has happened to the image over time. Find the place on the screen that tells you the scale. Make sure it is set to 100%. And the destination should be Color Photo Printer or Best Printer, whatever you can select. Next, you'll see the resolution box. What you need to do is manually enter the resolution until you reach the target file size. Remember, the size we are aiming for is about 41 to 43 megabytes. Right now, you can see it's set to 7.34 megabytes. So enter a resolution and hit the Tab key on the keyboard. This will recalculate the file size. If you are too high, you need to lower it. If you're too low, you need to bring it up. Keep doing this until you reach about 41 megabytes. It doesn't hurt to overshoot the target file size just a little bit. You will also want to scan at a higher than 40 megabytes if you think you'll need to do some cropping or rotating or neatening up the scan. Now that we are at 41 to 43 megabytes, you're ready to scan the image, so click the Scan button. Your software may ask you the type of file you want to save, so select TIFF. This is uncompressed and will give you the best quality file. Call this your master file. You will need to name the scan before you scan it, and this can always be changed after you scan it. So for now, give it a name that makes sense, but try to keep it under 20 characters, and then click OK when done. The scanner will start scanning the image, and the higher the resolution, the longer it'll take. But that's only because you are asking it to add more dots into that inch. Once the file is scanned, find it on your computer and open it in your editing software. Again, we recommend Photoshop Elements. You need to resave the file as a JPEG file with a low compression but high quality. Once open, you can make any small adjustments to the file that you need. For example, rotation or level adjustment. Then go to File and Save As. Click on the Format box and select JPEG. Now give the file a name and click Save. You will be asked to select a quality setting. In Elements, select 11, with 12 being the highest. In other software, select just below the highest quality number, whatever that is. Leave the TIFF as untouched. You can always go back to that if you need the raw, high-quality scan. You will see that when the JPEG is opened in Photoshop Elements, it shows a size of about 42 megabytes or so, the size you scanned it at. Once you close it, however, it will say it's 5 to 10 megabytes when you are viewing it in File Properties on Explorer on a Windows machine or in Finder on a Mac. Since one of the goals of Maine Memory Network is to show the original items as they exist today, we won't be doing any repairs or enhancement on the images. But we want the image on the screen to look as close to the original item as possible. We achieve this by comparing the screen image to the actual image. So remove the image from the scanner, hold it up next to the computer screen. Do the images look the same? Does it need some adjusting as far as lightness or color tone or levels? You can use the tools and elements to adjust the image slightly. Use Rotate to straighten it and Crop to tighten up the cropping. Again, trying to leave a little border around the whole image to show the edges. And Elements has a great tool called Levels to adjust the bright and dark highlights of the photos. If you need more Photoshop training, please contact us. Once you have your JPEG file saved and named properly, you are ready to upload it to Maine Memory Network. Contact us and we can talk you through that. Thank you again for watching and learning how to scan items for Maine Memory Network. Here are a few resources for you. Feel free to contact us if you have any more questions.